DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Inside to Stevenson, up against Kaminsky, fucking good in the ball!
Santel, all the way to the basket, foul, lays it in for 2!
Hello everybody, happy new year, happy 2026, welcome in to the Upstate Hoops Podcast as we cover Wayne Finger Lakes High School basketball. Paul Russo and Kyle Evans here with you this week. Get to recap Holiday Hoops action, our first power rankings of 2026, and take a look at the week ahead. So plenty to get to today. But first, thank you to our sponsors that bring you the Upstate Hoops Podcast and our coverage of Wayne Finger Lakes basketball action throughout the winter, including DeSanto Propane that you saw off the top. 4 generations strong is a trustworthy family-owned business with unmatched customer service. You can check them out online at DeSantoPropane.com. For more information or call them toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane. Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant. You can visit Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant, their original Waterloo location, or their location in Geneva. Dine-in, takeout, delivery, catering, and banquets. Order online at Cicinos.com. Live, laugh, and eat well. It's the Italian way. And Lil John and Barbie Orthodontics. Dr. Lil John, Dr. Barbie, and their outstanding orthodontic team share a common goal to ensure the overall wellness of each of their patients through their exceptional orthodontic care. You can check out Dr. Rod and Dr. Liz online at littlejohnortho.com. All right, Kyle, we are back at it for another week ahead here of high school hoops. We got to get to one game, happily, last week. We were supposed to get to 2, but more on that in just a few minutes. But well, you said we jump in here and take a quick look first on the boys' side of things here for the Holiday Hoops weekend. It was we talked about it before on our last podcast a few weeks ago, but seemed like a lighter slate than usual these next the next couple weeks through the past couple, and it definitely reflected a little bit here as we take a look at the scoreboard from the boys' side of things the past couple weeks, like we mentioned. Kind of things that stuck out to me: Kyle, Canandaigua avenged their loss at the start of the season at Geneva, beat the Panthers, that old Finger Lakes East matchup. They split the season series there. Honeoye went out and just dominated the tournament that they were in over the Christmas break. Geneva and Lions, that much aforementioned matchup. We'll jump into that more in just a second. But that's really the main stuff that stuck out to me. The Aquinas-Wayne matchup stuck out as well. Wayne coming away with the victory there. And Gananda beating York as well stuck out to me. So a lot of pretty good games, and the good teams kind of kept on winning throughout all this deal. And I don't know if we're going to really fully jump into it, but quick shout out to East Rochester. They beat Pavilion yesterday, Sunday the 4th at Rocket Arena in Cleveland. Second year in a row we've had a team from the Wayne Finger Lakes go over to Cleveland to play a fellow Section 5 team and come away with a victory. So congratulations to the Bombers of East Rochester. Any of those games that I missed stick out for you, or kind of falling in line?
Did you say the Newark-Pittsford Sutherland, the Newark-Victor game?
Not.
Yeah, those are 2 that I thought were interesting. Of course, non-league play for both, but Newark went into that first game against Pittsford Sutherland 5-0. They lost by 12 to them, and then a couple days later they played Victor, who again is, they were off to a 4-2 start, so they're a tough team, and Newark lost again, so they've now lost 2 straight after a 5-0 start. And suddenly we're down to just 2 undefeated teams left or on the boys' side, I should say, and that's Honeoye and Naples.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Finger Lakes West, baby. Represent. But yeah, they're probably not who we all thought on the bingo card fully there. So, yeah, let's jump into the Lions-Geneva game, though, here a little bit more in depth. Was a great game. We were there covering it, myself and Jim Senecropi, who's on vacation today. He'll be back next week with us. Geneva, 67, Lions 65, win at home for the Panthers. Get their first win against the Lions and the first time in a couple matchups here. And, man, it was just such a great game. I know, Kyle, for you were tuning in, obviously, from afar, but covering the game as well. One of the things that really stuck out to me was and I don't know, it's always interesting, these games that you get during break, right? But the crowd was electric, standing room only. Just a tremendous game. Jameer Johnson, 20, Steven Lebrecht, 17. Kawan Butler, 12 for Lions, and all 12 in pretty much a minute and a half run in the final couple of minutes of that game for Lions, who had to come back. Geneva pulled away in the second half a little bit in the third quarter. Caden Larson led the way there. He had 26 total on the night. Essentially 2/3 of those came in the second half. Andrew Green with 15, Jacob Marner with 11, but just a stellar performance. The game lived up to the billing, and we thought it was going to tee off a great week of high school hoops, but it kind of left us with a little bit of the appetizer for what we're going to get later on this week now. But what were your takeaways from that game in which Geneva beat Lions?
Yeah, I didn't think Lions played well until probably that fourth quarter. But again, it was Kawan Butler who, really gave them a chance even at the end, because going into the first few minutes of the fourth quarter, Geneva actually pushed their lead to 14. And at that point, you're thinking, man, how's this going to end for Lions? And credit to them, though. They came back and fought and even tied the game late on the Jameer Johnson and one. He didn't hit the layup or hit the free throw after to put them up. But they still had a chance at the end, and they turned the ball over. Andrew Green got fouled, on a 3-point attempt that hurt. I just think there was just too many mistakes, but you just see how good they are, because despite all those mistakes, at the end of the day, it was a 2-point loss. So I think that's very telling too. And then one other quick note that I didn't even mention is Jameer Johnson, only 6 points in the second half. I mean, that's probably not going to cut it against a team like Geneva, and sure enough, it didn't. So you would like to see a little more from him, but he is definitely not the blame for this loss. I mean, 20 points is still 20 points at the end of the day. You would have liked to see some of those other guys step up, like Contrell Parker. He just had a tough night, but yeah, I still think there's nothing to really overreact to this Lions loss.
Yeah, and a key part, kind of stifling Jameer Johnson in the second half, was Caden Larson. He was our Chichino's Pizzeria and Restaurant Player of the Game that game, and we have clipped that interview out. Caden Larson joined myself and Jim Senecropi over at the booth following the game last Monday night. We'll throw it over to the interview, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes here for the podcast.
As we officially will welcome Caden Larson over here to the booth. Caden, congratulations on the win and the big game for you.
Thank you so much.
I think my first question has to be, this is a series that we've seen now kind of be reignited over the course of the past few years, and you've been a really big focal point within these games. What's it like for you getting the win in your senior year on your home court over Lions?
Man, it's everything, bro. We had a tough loss at Canandaigua that hurt us. We wanted to come back and make a statement, and that's what we did.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising to see that score against Canandaigua, especially after you beat them so soundly the first time in Canandaigua. But, it's early in the year. There's so much to go as you're working towards the postseason, obviously, and the bulk of the Finger Lakes East season. But, to play a game like this, 3 days after Christmas, 4 days after Christmas, in front of a crowd like this in your home gym as a senior,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you were excited. And then to have it play out this way and get that win in this environment, I mean, great stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's the best part about basketball. This environment, it was amazing. I loved it.
So you ended up with a game-high 27. You had 19 of those in the second half when really you guys needed it most. What was it like for you kind of within coming out of the halftime locker room stuff with Coach Collins? And we saw you kind of take over both running the ball point a little bit. Obviously down low, you're dishing, finding some great off looks to Eric Figueroa. What was it kind of like the locker room discussion and playing it out in the second half?
Man, they just got me the ball in great positions. My teammates are great shooters, so the spacing on the court is amazing for me. Not just trying to find the open man and score when I have to.
Yeah, it was great to see everything kind of move through you. You're able to penetrate and drive or receive the ball down low, find your teammates, able to hit shots from the outside and inside. I think one of the biggest differences in the game was the way you adjusted to defend Jameer Johnson in the second half. What did Coach tell you in halftime? What adjustments did you make?
Told me to front him. I'm tall enough, so I can reach the ball when they try to throw it over. And if they try to throw it over me, I always have help on my teammates on the backside. And he told me a little secret. I'm not going to give you that just in case we have to face another big man like that.
Yeah, well, no, I don't blame you for that. Keep that one close to the vest. But, fantastic ball game tonight. Eric Figueroa really stepped up in the third quarter. I don't think it was the best shooting night of Andrew Green's career, but he still got it done and made some big shots. Jacob played good. Talk about your teammate and in particular your group of seniors.
We're amazing, bro. We don't care who plays, just as long as we win. You see Drew, even when he has a bad shooting night, he keeps shooting with confidence. Our whole team's like that. We got to just lift him up. So the moment came, you saw him. He knocked down clutch free throws. And, yep.
Now, you know these guys from Lions, right?
Yeah.
You play a lot of AAU ball, and so it has to be fun. Talk about the Lions team because you guys are in Class A. They're in Class C1. You're not going to meet in the postseason or anything. And you probably played against a lot of Lions teams over the years, too. Talk about this particular Lions team and why they're going to be so tough to beat.
Man, they're fast, strong. JJ, he's a beast in the paint. They all play with heart, play hard, and that's the best part about them. They're all athletic.
Yep.
They can knock down shots when they need to, and that's what a great team – they're put together well, and that's what a great team is made of.
Yep, fantastic.
Yep. All right, we'll get you out there on that, Caden. Congratulations again on the big win and the great game, and good luck. We'll see you guys playing here down the second half of the year, so good job.
Thank you so much.
All right, and that was our interview with Caden Larson, our Chino's Pizzeria and Restaurant Player of the Game for that game. And, pretty cool seeing him give props to his teammates, coaches, Lions as well. Just a really great player, and I can tell that he recognizes really well what's going on around him. So it'll be great to see what he does down the stretch, as well as Geneva and Lions and everybody in between. So let's jump over to the girls' side, Kyle, as we take a look at the scoreboard for their Holiday Hoops break. I think we got to start with that Watkins Glen tournament, in my mind. Paul Mack beating Lions pretty soundly, and then turn around and Lions beats Marcus Whitman soundly in that tournament. One of those things to keep an eye on here is it looks like it just might be a little bit of a circle of whatever you want to call it happening at that point. Waterloo, now this one stuck out. Waterloo goes to a tournament, faces Our Lady of Mercy, triple overtime game. That was a game, Kyle, that was also happening during that Lions of Geneva game, but you text me and I was like, have you seen anything about this? I'm like, no, let me, I'll reach out to some people here and see what we get. And, just crazy. They had to jump over streams because it was going long and everything, but, one of those games that ends up being great, and the Tigers just find themselves on the wrong end of it. That being said, they bounced back pretty well the next day. They beat Livonia, so maybe no harm, no foul. We'll see how it fully plays out in the long run there. But in addition to there, Newark also in a tournament. They beat Brockport. They beat HFL. So those were more or less the performances that caught my eye through the holiday break, Kyle, on the girls' end. And I'm sure you probably have a couple more that you had your eye on as well.
Yeah, I actually only had one other one that you didn't have, which was the Bloomfield and Williamson-Marion matchup. I was just interested to see how a Wayne County team would do going, over and facing the West, and Bloomfield took care of them, winning by 13. But I still think Williamson-Marion is one of the better teams in Wayne County. Clyde Savannah seems to have fallen a bit. So maybe they're the new team to kind of watch. But yeah, Bloomfield is still good at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that's really popped up that I think me and you especially have noticed, right? Is not much has changed there. They just needed to finally get games played, and it's not even so much for the fact that they lost games; they just literally hadn't played any games. So, yeah, it looks like the Bombers have picked up where they kind of left off last year in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
All right. I think with that in mind, we'll turn over to our power rankings, our first edition for 2026. And we'll keep on the girls' side of things here first, with Newark taking over the top spot unanimously across the board as Waterloo moves to 2. Lions with their loss goes to 3. Bloomfield to 4. Whitman down to 5. Gananda to 6. Tied in 7. 2 teams that did move up spots respectively. HAC and Penn Yan. Clyde Savannah falls to 9. Williamson Marion falls to 10. With Palmyra Macedon, the only other team receiving any votes with 2 total point votes there. So take a look at that, Kyle. Anything that really jumps out to you?
Well, I couldn't put Williamson Marion below Clyde Savannah because Williamson Marion beat them head to head.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago. And to be fair, Clyde Savannah, like I said, it stumbled a bit. They got blown out by Lions. They just lost to Minders by 20. So yeah, I had to drop them further down. And then Marcus Whitman, I know they had a couple tough games. They started out 4-0. They are in the West. But for an 0-2 week, I had to drop them a slot too. Losing to Lions by 32 is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Watkins Glen by 15. Penn Yan, I'm still not sure what we're really getting from Penn Yan because, they are 6-1, no doubt about it. But you look at some of the teams on their schedule, he's got to see them play a couple more. And Newark, yeah, I put Newark way up. I'm really liking what I see from Newark. I mean, that HFL team that they just beat over the weekend, and even Brockport, the HFL team was undefeated.
Yeah.
And they were 6-0.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought Newark now all of a sudden should be number 1 on the girls' side.
Yeah, I agree 100%. For me, I had Clyde Savannah completely out of my top 10 personally at this point.
Yeah.
I just couldn't quite put them there. It was tough. The girls' side, especially this week, just with the gameplay, you had a lot of stagnant teams, right? It's tough to really, the way I go about it, it's tough to dock somebody if they haven't done anything all week through no fault of their own. And I think a couple teams might have got caught into the collateral damage of that a little bit. But we'll see. It's always tough. The bottom parts of these top 10s fluctuate pretty regularly, as we'll see. And yeah, it's tough. I don't have an overall problem with the top 10. I just, like you said, when teams go head-to-head like that, we know the outcome. That's where I kind of have a little bit of a struggle with it.
Yeah, and then I will mention 2 teams that I forgot, Gananda and HAC.
Yeah.
Gananda hasn't played in 19 days.
Yeah.
HAC hasn't played in 20.
Yeah.
Of course, they'll be back playing either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the last 2 weeks, how can you really judge 2 teams that haven't played other than what they've done? And HAC is 5-1, and Gananda is 4-1. So, I had to include them.
Yeah. No fault there. All right, let's take a look at the boys' standings now for the power rankings. And despite losing to Canandaigua, really was the battle between Geneva and Lions, who more than likely would get number 1 this week. And because of that head-to-head, Geneva gets the unanimous number 1 spot. Tied in second place, though, now, Honeoye and Lions. And I think we're going to table maybe most of that discussion, Kyle, though, for a little bit later on here on the podcast. Wayne coming in at 4, Newark at 5, Gananda at 6, Palmac up to 7, East Rochester to 8, Naples making their first appearance. You kind of mentioned them, Kyle. They've gone undefeated so far this year. They come in at 9. And Midlakes also makes their first appearance in the top 10 this year, coming in at 10. Miners Academy, the only other team receiving votes on the boys' side of things there. And I don't know, I feel like for me, Kyle, personally, the boys' side is where I maybe have a little bit more of a gripe going on, but It's hard to argue overall. I think maybe with this top 10, I think from 8 on down, you can make a case of why they should be in the top 10 for sure. Maybe even up to 7 with Pal Mac. But I think just the way everything played out, probably would have, personally speaking, put Miners in at 10 for now. But we vote as a panel, and this is what we get. And those are the top 10 results.
Yeah, I did have Minders in my top 10. I get it. They've had an up and down start to the year. They did just lose by a lot to World of Inquiry, but they've also picked up some good wins. So you have to credit them still there. And then Pal Mac, I mean, same thing. They're like a similar team. In the East, they've picked up some quality wins, and other times they've fallen. So, yeah, I kind of agree there that like maybe 6 through 10, 7 through 10 is a little tough because you can kind of put either one of those in either order. But overall, I just looked, and I'm pretty much spot on with what we have up there.
Yeah, same actually for myself. I think 1 through 4 I had right. I did have actually with their Newark did lose a couple games here through the holiday. I did have them falling to 6, but I'm not going to sit here and argue because, like I said, I think that especially that top portion, I think that's locked in for the rest of the year in terms of who they are. It's going to be a matter of maybe how they fall, more or less.
And we should mention the Wayne boys. They are 4-3. You might think, oh, well, that's not a great record, but they played in Florida, which was a tough tournament. So you can't really fault them that much on the couple losses down there. And I think Bill Thompson has his guys playing better than I would have imagined. I think they're a good team still.
Yeah, at this point, I mean they've handled their business in New York State.
Yeah.
So. All right, I think this is a perfect jumping board, Kyle, to our week ahead here as we throw up the boys' schedule here because, like I said, Lions and Honeoye tied at 2 in the power rankings this week, and they were supposed to play this past Saturday, but got postponed due to weather. Scheduled to be made up this upcoming Saturday, the 10th. We will be there. Myself and you, Kyle, 3:30 p.m. at FLCC. So make sure you tune in to the stuff here on fairleaguespun.com for that. So we'll have the head-to-head there, but to get there are no games tonight on the boys' side of things on Monday the 5th. Kind of crazy, but then it's literally a full slate tomorrow on Tuesday. Newark at Geneva kind of highlights to me the game tomorrow. That slate there. Move through the week. Also, Mid-Lakes at Wayne. That's going to be an interesting, I think, gauge check for Mid-Lakes to see where they actually stack up this year. They're showing a lot of promise here early on, but how will they stack up against Wayne, who's been the stalwart of the Finger Lakes East for the past handful of years? Move along. There's also no boys games on Wednesday either. Get to Thursday for games. At that point, Kanata and Williamson on the boys' side, so I have highlight. Williamson's a team that has poked around now at the bottom part of our top 10 for the power rankings. But I imagine Kanata still probably would be your favorite there. Then move through the rest of the week to get to, as like I said, that Honeoye Lions matchup, Kyle.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one.
Yeah.
I've thought about this matchup for a while. I mean, even back on opening night. And I don't know what we're going to get. All I know is we're going to get, I would say, a pretty good game similar to the Geneva Lions game because we have 2 really good players on both sides, Jameer Johnson and Landon Washburn. Landon being the younger one, junior. What he's doing has been incredible. He's a point machine, literally.
Yeah.
He's averaging 36, 37 a game now.
37.5.
Yeah, there you go. I just don't have it pulled up, but yeah. And then Jameer Johnson on the other side, big man. Similar in size, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Landon is 6'7". I'm not sure about Jameer Johnson, but I would assume similar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it comes down to, just matchups.
Yeah.
Who's going to have the better day, Jameer Johnson or Landon Washburn?
And I think this game could be a little bit of a track meet too, in a way. You're gonna have the Washburns. It's gonna be a little bit of a family affair, right? You have the Washburns for Honeoye, you have the Lebrechts for Lions. You also have Jameer and Jaja on Lions as well. It's gonna be an interesting game, I'd say. I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, ideally, Kyle, I think we both really wished it would have been this past Saturday, but
Friday.
Or Friday. Apologies.
It felt like a Saturday.
The way the holidays fell this year, as we now discuss on Upstate Holidays Weekly, but yeah, the way the holidays fell this year kind of threw everything for a loop. So, including, I apologize for my voice and everything, people. It's been my body has not adjusted to the holidays well. So, let's check out the girls' schedule for the week ahead. And this one is a ginormous slate beginning tonight. Marcus Whitman at Gananda is actually the game that I kind of have highlighted here in that early window. You know, can Whitman rebound against a good Gananda squad? And it'd be pretty telling. Actually, Whitman's back-to-back this to get the week going. They play Addison tomorrow as well. But really, for me, you have to jump to the middle of the week. Bloomfield at Newark sticks out to me. I think that might be the game of the week overall, even on the girls' side of things. That probably is the game of the week on the girls' side.
Yeah.
Gananda at East Rochester, always a rivalry game. We talked about Penn Yan a little bit. They got a couple of big games this week. Both are home. Waterloo visits on Wednesday. Palmac visits on Friday. And then also I have my eye on that Lions at Gananda game on Friday night as well. So pretty huge slate, but I think it's really highlighted by that Wednesday night matchup, Bloomfield at Newark.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I will say, though, that Palmac win over Lions, the girls, gives me hope all of a sudden that, like, despite how bad it's been, they started off 0-5. I feel like Palmac is still in it, because if you can go out and beat a team like that, I mean, look at the schedule this week. They have some teams that, I mean, I'm interested to now watch. Like, can they beat Penn Yan? You know, can they, who are they playing other than that? I think it was, Minders at home. Like I'm interested to see how those games go. Maybe that Lions game gave them a boost of confidence. So, but yeah, Bloomfield Newark is by far the best game on the slate.
Yeah.
5-0 versus 3-1.
Yeah. And pretty big early implications in the Finger Lakes East standings as well for that game. So we'll keep an eye on that and more. So, Kyle, I think that about does it for the podcast this week. As I mentioned, me and you will be at that Lions Honeyway matchup on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. tip-off scheduled for at FLCC. We'll be on the airwaves. We'll be on YouTube. We'll be on Mixler. Really looking forward to it. And Kyle, first game for you back in the broadcast booth for the year. So
yeah,
hope you're excited.
Yeah, I am, especially where the location is at. Yeah. I've never actually been inside that gym, so interested to see. And I know if Jim was here, he'd want a line on the game. I can't give that line out because I really have no idea, and I'll probably make a bad prediction.
Yeah.
But let's just pray it's like a 2-point difference, like Lions, Geneva.
Yeah. I think you're going to see a lot of scoring in that game.
Yeah.
That I think is a guarantee. I think you're going to a lot of stat book stuffing, if you will. So we have a lot to look forward to with that. And as always, make sure you check in nightly or even morningly. Hey, some people go to sleep early. I don't judge, right?
Yeah.
But Kyle, you got us covered as always with the scores and updates through the night. And that will be the case tonight, even with an all-girls slate. So
a 10-gamer,
yeah.
All girls.
Nice little tease to get back into the full swing of things, right?
Yeah.
So appreciate you, Kyle, and everything you do. That'll do it for us here on the Upstate Hoops Podcast this week. You can find the Upstate Hoops Podcast and all other podcasts here on Finger Lakes One on FingerLakes1.com, the FL1 YouTube channel, and all major podcasting platforms. We'll be back at it next Monday once again for the Upstate Hoops Podcast. Enjoy the week, everybody. Good luck to all the teams, and enjoy the week of Wayne Finger Lakes High School basketball.